Alright, so here's what I'm doing to hopefully stop this valve cover leaking. So you can see there, I have used a file, and I have gone ahead and just filed a little tiny bit off of each one of these posts here. So now let's see if I can do this without messing up too much. Okay, so now this is styling. How about that, huh? Okay, so what I've done is I've taken the post down just a little tiny bit. Alright. And I'll show you the other side so you can kind of get a comparison of how much I have actually taken off. Now let's get a comparison of how much I've actually taken off. Just a fraction of a millimeter or so. So anyways, that's what you want to do. You just want to take a nice flat file and you want to just go ahead and, let's see. First thing you want to do is go ahead and clean this valve cover up a little bit so there's not all oily in there, because that'll make it harder to get all the metal filings out. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go ahead and just take your flat file and just make sure it's nice and flat on there, and then just make some passes with it. So you get the idea. And then you want to go ahead and take some Q-tips and either a wax and grease remover or paint thinner, and you want to go and get your Q-tip all wet and get every single one of these grooves along the valve cover. Get it all nice and cleaned out, and then take a clean Q-tip and go back through all the grooves and everything. And you especially want to do that after you finish grinding your posts with the file. And you don't forget these middle ones. There's three. How many are there? There's 3 middle ones. Don't forget these middle ones. Otherwise it'll really throw off your valve cover. And then when you're tightening it down, I'll show you how to do that in another video of how to tighten down this modified valve cover that I'm doing. And don't worry, guys. This is just the old Ford valve cover I had laying around. Well, finally, it's way later in the evening, and I've gone ahead and taken my nice chrome valve cover off. It's over there. It'll be worked on later. But here's what it looks like with these ground down posts a little bit. You can see that there's actually quite a bit more gasket material that can be squished around, and this is not a brand new gasket, so you see how much more squish down it can do, how much further the valve cover can go down. And what I think is going on is these cam humps aren't very thick here. So what's going on is these aren't getting squished down enough because these posts were sticking up too much. So now this will get to sandwich in there a little bit more and squeeze and really seal good. So I'm not even going to use any RTV on this installation. So anyway, I cleaned it up pretty good. This is just my original Ford cover. Nothing special. I just cleaned it up a little bit. So let's go ahead and lay it on here. Let's get going on here. Okay, so grab the bolts and just start chucking them in there. Okay, so now that you got all your bolts just sitting in there loose, not even tightened up yet, just go ahead and give it a little bit of a wiggle. Okay. Okay, go ahead and finger tighten all of them so that the threads are grabbing. See, like that one wouldn't have grabbed if I would have tightened them down. So make sure you go ahead and finger tighten them all down really quick. Okay, so you don't want to tighten them down all the way. Just put them down before they even touch. See, that one's too much. You want to see a little bit of a space there so you can wiggle the valve cover a little bit. Now remember, I put no silicone on the cam humps at all. I put nothing there. Alright, so now that you've gotten your cover on, all the bolts down so that they're still a little bit loose, go ahead and give it a little bit of a move around. It should move a little bit. So now you can look down to the spark plug holes, and you probably can't see this at all, but you want to get it so that it's perfectly lined up down through there and it's not offside or, you know, twisted around or whatever. And the bolts should be like directly in the middle of the holes. Okay, so I'm not a certified mechanic, but I'm going to try and do this job as best I can. So I'm going to show you how to the sequence that I think is correct for tightening down the valve cover that I've just modified. So since I've modified it, let's see if I can make a sequence for it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take them all down where they're touching. Okay, not bring the valve cover down at all. Just bring them down so that they're touching the valve cover. Okay, now I'm going to start with this bolt directly in the center, and I'm going to give it a little bit of a squeeze down. Okay, try and give it about the same amount, same twist each time. And of course it's making the other bolts really, really loose now because it's sucking it down more and more progressively. So we'll just do it nice and even. Be gentle with it. And yes, I do know how to torque on a head on a car. I've done it many times. Never blown a head gasket. I've never had a head gasket blow on me that I've worked on. Okay, it seems that they're all down already. So, okay, so let's go ahead and do our pattern again here in the middle. So, get that as tight as I can with this little nut driver. It's getting windy outside already. Okay, and then I believe these ones here need to be done. Okay, there. Now just throw your spark plug wires back. She's all done, minus putting a little piece of cloth on the breather there to keep anything from getting sucked in when it does actually suck in air. So I'm going to show you here that the gasket is squished out a little bit more than it used to be, which is what I was going after. And it doesn't look like it's tearing the gasket or anything. So let's give this a shot, and I will do a follow-up video. Okay, so yeah, it's back to ugly Ford cover, but as long as it doesn't leak, that's all I'm after. And I did a modification for our Western Washington rainy winters that will keep my cone filter from getting soaking wet to clean it. It was just drenched with muddy looking city water. It was gross. So anyways, got that cleaned up, so take it easy guys.